Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to answer this question. We have your what is IRQ? So I noticed that some students, they are not very confident on what they are saying when they are answering this one under NC2 on your oral questioning. Okay, well, don't worry about the questions there because as much as possible you are going to answer 80% of the questions, because if you cannot answer at least 80% of the questions there, then you will fail. Okay, now some students, most of them, don't know this one, so we're going to answer this one and try to explain more, because if I were to ask you again, most of you answered me before that IRQ is just a setting on the BIOS. So you're going to set so that you will not be having conflict. Yes, that's correct, but it's incomplete. Okay, you're not actually defining what is IRQ or what is a interrupt request. Now, I have a very simple diagram here. I want you to imagine this one as your motherboard. We have your CPU or your microprocessor. We have your NCII microcontroller hub, or this is what you call, they teach you this one as the North Bridge, but nowadays you call this one as your NCII. And then we have also your ICH, input output controller hub. Here, down below, that is your North Bridge. Now, if you try to see my diagram, we have a list of input devices here. For example, your keyboard, your modem, your COM port, anything you're using to connect within your computer. Now, all of this one is connected to your ICH going here, that way. Okay? So, every time you're going to press your keyboard, it will pass to your ICH, it will go to your NCIH, it will go to your CPU. Okay? Every time you're going to use the internet, if you have a modem at your place, okay, within your computer, it will go to your ICH again, MCH, CPU for processing. Now, the problem was sometimes your CPU is too busy enough processing something. Okay? So it cannot get the attention of the other devices. That is why they made, or let's say there is an int. There's one line passing through this one, that one, okay? One line going here. Before all the keyboard, the modem, the input devices are going to approach your ICH here, okay? There is one line. It's like a shortcut, but it's not, okay? This is what we call an interrupt, okay? Interrupt, okay? And then, okay, if you're going to press your keyboard out here and the ICH going to your MCH cannot get the attention of your CPU, that is the time your IRQ, or let's say your keyboard, is going to use the interrupt lane. Okay, it's going to send a request. Hey, Mr. CPU, I'm actually trying to communicate to you. It's like saying hi to a friend that is very busy doing something else. Hey, how are you? Something like that. You need to communicate with me because I have something important to tell you. Okay? So it's going to, if the CPU is very busy, it's going to interrupt what the CPU is doing, and the keyboard will actually say the things he wants to say to the CPU. Okay? Now, actually, your keyboard, your modem, all of the input devices outside have their own IRQ number, because if you try to see this one, all of them is actually connected to one link. Okay, so they need to have a IRQ number. We have, let's just say, for example, because I cannot memorize every IRQ number on your BIOS. On your BIOS, let's just, for say example, you have your keyboard as your number 1, we have your modem as your number 2, we have your COM port as number 3, and 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. Okay, for the other devices outside. Now, for example, you have the computer itself misconfigured itself on the BIOS that your modem and your keyboard have the same IRQ number. At some point, you can use your keyboard, but you will lose your internet. And at some point, you can have your internet, but you can lose your keyboard. Okay? Because they are having both of them are having the same IRQ number. So you need to actually configure your IRQ settings on your BIOS, put different IRQ numbers with them so that they can have they can use a request going to your processor here. Okay? Now, this IRQ thing on most computer right now, because our date today is actually 2014 on January, actually these IRQ settings are going away. They are moving out because starting before, they have this kind of plug and play technology where it replaces this one. So we're not going to have problems with these guys. But for older computers, most of them are having problems with IRQ. Okay, so I hope this is very helpful for you guys, and we're going to have more questions coming up later on. I'm going to answer them one by one and give you a detailed information for your NC2. So just keep waiting, and we'll be coming for you. Thank you.